Cthulhu for Tagan or something. If you know what that's all about, then Gibbous might be for you. If not, well, let's dive in and see anyway, shall we? Hello and welcome to YakWaxLips. My name is Michael, your point and click adventurer, and today's video is all about the Lovecraftian inspired adventure game Gibbous, a Cthulhu Adventure from Stuck in Attic. If it's your first time here, welcome. I make loads of adventure game videos, from old school classics like Monkey Island and Grim Fandango, through to recently released ones like Gibbous right here. If that's your cup of tea, please use your cursor to point and click over the subscribe button and hit the like too, as that will truly help this video and me out. Thank you very much. Gibbous, a Cthulhu Adventure story, revolves around myths and legends created by HP Lovecraft. We start our Lovecraftian adventure as investigator Don Archetype, yes, Don Archetype, on the hunt for a mysterious ancient book, and his leads take him to the village of Darkham, and specifically the library. It's in the library where we meet young Buzz Kerwin, and these two guys are our rays of hope. The book in question that Don is after is the Necronomicon, i.e. the world's most volatile, dangerous tome, and it just so happens to be hidden in this library. With such a notorious book being sought after, it's no wonder then that it's not just Don on the hunt, but also a few cultists. The second the Necronomicon has been discovered, the library is sent skyrocketing into oblivion thanks to a huge bomb. Don and Buzz do survive, thankfully, otherwise there wouldn't be a game, but Don is taken away by these mysterious fanatics. So the world's most dangerous book is left in the care of Buzz, who does what everyone who has the world's most dangerous book in their possession would do. He reads from it. The words that spew forth evilly from his lips do the most disastrous thing imaginable. They make his cat talk. Buzz's cat, delightfully named Kitty, is a nonchalant yet aggressive feline who oozes self-confidence. But she has her world turned upside down with the ability to speak. She hates it with a capital H. And so our true adventure starts here. We need to make Kitty stop talking, without, I hasten to add, the use of the Necronomicon, as that's done too much damage already. Oh, and as a side quest we have to save Don, uncover a secret society of megalomaniacs and save the world. But mainly it's the cat thing. First off, Don. He's a throwback to the 30s and 40s detective with a weighty gravelly voice, a sense of noir and loneliness, and an inner dialogue. For me, he's the standout character of the game. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and go it alone, but also he's open to being a team player too. Buzz is a sincere spirit, thrown into the action when all he really wants to do is continue his life in peace. Yet now he has a colossal task to attend to. He's the everyday man, who comes across, to be honest, fairly bland. Kitty, though, is anything but bland. I'd say she wisecracks often, but that would be a disservice to her character, as rather her feline thoughts are being vocalised for the first time, and at points it's frankly hilarious. She's a cat, and as a rule they're very private and live in solitude, but now she's being forced to work through this disaster with Buzz. We get to play as all three characters throughout the game, but only for one short puzzle do we play as Kitty. For the most part, it's Buzz and Don. We interact with items using the left mouse button, which brings up our verb wheel with normally 2 or 3 options. Clicking the eye icon makes us, yep, you've guessed it, look at something. We can look at something several times over to discover more about it though, and when all our dialogue becomes exhausted, the eye icon closes. Using the gear icon uses something or puts something into action, and the hand icon picks something up. We also have the option of using Kitty if we are Buzz. Her reactions range from her flat out refusing what she's asked to do, grudgingly offer her services, or as a hint system. We can chat to her and she'll tell us what our options might be. It's a novel way to get some hints, although the hints offered were fairly vague. If we're Don, we can also use something called the Haunter's Mark, where we can feel and hear an object's past. We're accidentally given this power early on due to an altercation with a weird glowing rock, but it turns out to be very handy. To access the inventory, we can scroll the mouse wheel or hit I. In terms of puzzles, it feels like the spirit of the so-called classic era of adventure games, but with an added twist that is needed to draw in a newer audience. It does suffer though from trying to pick up something or get something with no logical reason to. For example, when we hit the town of Fishmouth, there's a girl with some milk, dolphin milk to be precise, and we really try our hardest to get it off her. At the point in the game there was no logical reason I would be doing it. It's obvious I needed it for a future puzzle, but right there and then I was hassling a young child for her drink for no rational explanation. Harsh, dude. On that same theme, you can combine inventory items together, and at one point I managed to make a helmet. I had no idea why I just put together 2 or 3 items to make this little thing, but there it was anyway, sitting in my inventory, waiting to be used for a future puzzle. I can't move on from mentioning the puzzles though, without mentioning this puzzle. The one time I used a walkthrough was to understand this, and I still don't understand it, even now after rewatching it, and even after reading about it. Let me know in the comments below how this puzzle works. Okay, so I'm throwing a bit of shade onto the puzzles, but it was only really a few of them, and in the grander picture it didn't stop me enjoying what was on the screen. And what is on the screen is delightful. There's a distinct colour palette used, full of reds, oranges and purples, really warm. The backgrounds and locations are well designed and illustrated, and there are always little details tucked away in corners. The right mouse button has one sole purpose, and that's to zoom in. It doesn't act in any way as a help to complete puzzles, it's merely a way to examine the landscape in closer detail, which was an excellent choice. The entire game has nailed the aesthetic, and from scene 1 through to the final scene, there must be dozens of intricately conceived scenes, and it all feels connected, so big 5 stars for the art and animation. There are several cutscenes too, and all are again meticulously, deliciously animated. To go along with a fabulous look of the game, the voice acting is also top drawer. Both Don and Kitty are faultless, and Buzz is mostly great too. Voices for the entire cast, in fact, is strong. There are loads of speaking parts, dozens of people to chat to, and not once can I remember thinking there was a weak point in the acting or the design. I can't really say much for the music really though, not that it was bad, it just never really jumped out at me. It does what any soundtrack should do, and that's add a further layer to the scene we're involved with. Where I feel Gibbous, a Cthulhu Adventure starts to slip though, it's on the story. I'm holding my hands up here and saying I know next to nothing about Cthulhu, or HP Lovecraft for that matter, and maybe that left me a little underwhelmed. As the strands of the story start to open up more strange cults, secret lairs and add important main characters, it all appeared like it was melting away from me. I became a little less interested in what was actually going on, and I'd just like to move along to get to more puzzles. I was hoping the ending would tie up some ends and answer some questions I had about Cthulhu, the Necronomicon, a strange symbol, some voodoo, and, well, there was quite a lot of things. But it didn't. It became extremely peculiar, and I started to think, what the hell am I doing here? The final scenes had so much emotion, but I felt it didn't warrant it. It hadn't quite set all its ducks in a row, so to speak. It's a shame, as for the most part, the story had intrigued me. Maybe I'm missing a huge part of the Lovecraftian lore, and maybe big questions will be answered in a sequel, or maybe it's meant to be ambiguous. But when the credits rolled, I wasn't wholly convinced, and was left a little bewildered. Gibbous, a Cthulhu Adventure is an amusing journey with some spectacular illustration and a cast of colourful, imaginative characters, but is bogged down in a story that starts promising, then ends up in a self-important, confusing muddle. Plus, what is with this puzzle? You can get a copy of Gibbous, a Cthulhu Adventure for PC from the link in my description, and it's also available for Linux, Mac and Nintendo Switch. I received a free copy of the game direct from the developers Stuck in Attic for my honest review. Thanks for watching my review. If you've enjoyed it, please hit the like button, consider subscribing and check out these other videos too. Until next time, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is you're doing right now, and take care.